Thank you, everybody, for joining us this month on our PD webinar, where we're going to talk about what is an FM role. For those of you who aren't sure if training or credentials are right for you, if you're just not sure what an FM does, this is what we're here to cover today. Joining me today are going to be my teammates Kim Coffey and Sterling Berlanga. And we are going to really delve into what FM is, a little bit more information about what those roles look like, and talk about a little bit of emerging trends. So just to give you a little brief update, Starlin, if you want to tell everybody a little bit about IFMA.
Sure. So I'm Starlin Berlanga. I'm an account manager here with IFMA. And while you may not be familiar with me, you may already be familiar with IFMA if you're new. I would like to go over a little bit about IFMA's history. We have been in the industry for over 40 years. We have over 24,000 members in over 130 countries, and there are 139 chapters, and actually I think more now, within those 130 plus countries. Our mission at IFMA is to lead the future of the built environment to make the world a better place. And that's what FMs are doing on a day-to-day basis, is making the world a better place. And we're here to help support you guys. In doing that, what we're doing is advancing our collective knowledge, value, and growth for FM professionals to perform at the highest level. And we're going to go a little bit into more detail today about who exactly is an FM and how we can help support you guys.
I know this slide looks a little busy with different titles that you may recognize, but if you don't see your title listed here, that's okay. We know that you're still doing the work. A lot of different organizations title their employees differently. So you might see something that you recognize or something that's close or similar to what you currently answered to, but we didn't want to leave anybody out. So again, we know that you're out there doing the work. And we want to just make sure that if this is what you're doing, we want you to tune in. We want you to share this with other FMs, just so that you can help yourself or them understand how big of a role you play in your organization. Don't forget to let us know where you're watching us from, because we would love to hear and see where everybody is.
So, Gail, I'd love to jump in here and say, we do refer to facility managers, facility management. Doesn't mean that you're a manager per se. It means that you have a task, a responsibility, a role in the operations and maintenance of a facility. So FM may not be anywhere in your title. And this slide really is to just showcase the fact that it can be a multitude of titles, and you are absolutely in the right spot with FM. Starlin, I know you talk with a lot of folks that call in and want to talk about training, and I think you can also attest that there's a variety of backgrounds.
Absolutely. Some people come from the finance side, operations, different things, and they don't know if it will apply. And it's interesting because a lot of people usually have these tasks just fall to them and they have to figure it out, and they don't have necessarily training to back them up, but they make it work and are doing facility management on a day-to-day basis without realizing it.
Exactly right. And just to let all of you know.
So I think that, go ahead.
Sorry, Starlin. I was just going to say we're all in Houston if you want to continue to let us know where you're joining us in from. Take it away, Starlin.
Oh, I was just going to say, to kind of go over a little bit more about what facilities management entails, we have a brief video that will highlight what you guys may face on a day-to-day basis.
Yes, this is FM.
Ever wonder what keeps places running? And how buildings stay beautiful, comfortable, and safe? Who's working behind the scenes? Take a guess. The answer? 2 letters. FM. It stands for Facility Management. Behind every stadium, venue, office, airport, museum, school, or theme park, there's a facility manager making sure that these spaces run smoothly. Without facility managers, the places we work, live, and play wouldn't be as productive, enjoyable, or healthy. No 2 days are the same, and no 2 facilities are the same. It's a challenging but rewarding profession that we can take pride in. At IFMA, the International Facility Management Association, we collaborate with and empower facilities management professionals around the world. Professionals that understand and are passionate about technology, efficiency, and environmentalism. For over 40 years as a professional trade organization, IFMA has grown to 24,000 members in over 100 countries and counting. That means we're everywhere because facility managers are everywhere. If you want to make a difference in the environment, in sustainability, and have a lasting impact on the places we work, live, and play, this is the career for you. The grass we walk on, the water we drink, and the places we meet all depend on FM professionals. If you like organization, people, and being well compensated for valuable, meaningful work, you can find a place in facility management. It's time to see what's next for you. Visit ifma.org to learn more.
What a great video. And as you saw, FM is an organizational function. So you're integrating people, place, and process within the built environment. So you are the reason why buildings are safe for people to come back to, why people are comfortable while they're in those buildings, whether the temperature is just right or whatever, the lighting is great. You are the person responsible for all of those functions to keep the built environment tip top and just ready for everybody to come in.
And I love this picture. So this is actually one of our IFMA qualified instructors, Johnny Dinkin, and this picture is from World Workplace. And his sweet wife made that shirt, and it says, "That's what I do. I fix stuff and I know things." And that's really what FMs do all the time, day to day. Things come up all the time, and people come to you for the answers to know, how do we fix this or how do we move forward? And it's up to the facility managers to know exactly how to do that.
Yeah, often the FM
Kim?
is creating a solution that doesn't exist, and they're having to make it up as they go along. And that takes a lot of knowledge in multiple areas. So FMs have a very challenging role, but a critical one.
Very true.
And as you know that because this profession is ever changing, there's always going to be emerging trends. IFMA recently released a white paper, and these are the emerging trends that we are focusing on for developing content and resources for you.
Right, Gail. So basically, not only do FMs need to know all the answers are constantly changing, and the questions are constantly changing. Things such as AI have come up very recently, and circular economy is a very important part of making sure that your business is sustainable, among other things. Kim, would you like to share some of the others?
Yeah, for sure. Workplace wellness. Gail, when you were talking about the integration of place and people, health and safety of individuals and buildings are coming up more and more. It's critical. We've come out of a pandemic. We've come through that. Flu season is upon us, and every season there seems to be something else. Indoor air quality is part of that. So contending with that climate change, how often do we see the quality of the air is not safe for you to be outside? Well, guess what? We do have to bring in some of that outside air. So how often are your air exchanges, and are you scrubbing the air? There's so many things that are happening. I would like to touch on the ESG reporting. FMs, there's not really standards yet for ESG, but we do know that data is a huge part of it. And guess where that data is going to be coming from? Already with prop tech and multiple things with technology advancements, there's so much data, and the FM has to be able to say this is accurate data, it's real. It wasn't generated by AI that has nothing to do with what our facility is actually producing. So as we keep our fingers on the pulse of these emerging trends, IFMA's here to help bring resources and knowledge to the FM because it is constantly changing. And so the question becomes, how do you stay relevant? I'm very pleased to be able to share with you this quote from our board chair and the chair of the Emerging Topics Working Group, which is the group that created the content that is in that white paper. So Dean Stanberry, thank you so much for highlighting that factors have been accelerating the industry's evolution. It's from the traditional back of house operations and maintenance to becoming a new data-driven, people-centric, climate and resource aware era of FM. And if you think about resources, what are some of our most precious resources? I think of water, of course, air, and then energy. And this is something that, as Dean says, we have got to understand the external influences, and FMs have got to have the knowledge and tools that they need to be able to move forward with all of these challenges that are coming in at this time.
So as I mentioned at the beginning of this webinar, the thing that IFMA is here for is to support you. And so here you can see our pathfinding, and IFMA really meets you where you are. If you're just starting out, we do have the essentials all the way up to the certified facility manager, which is the pinnacle achievement, which is a certification for experienced FMs. Gail is actually going to go into a little bit more detail about each of these programs, but if you have any questions, please pop them in the chat or reach out to us afterwards via email, and we'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
So we're taking a little bit different approach. We're trying to show you how the training breaks down. I love the visual because it'll show you our credentials and just our supplemental training, if you will. So as Starlin mentioned, our CFM, our top certification, that is going to be where you get to highlight and showcase all of your years of experience and knowledge in FM by taking this exam. This is, again, a great way to just showcase that you are the go-to person in your organization, and you now have the certification behind you to let everybody else know this as well. All of our credentials are globally recognized. IFMA is anti-accredited. I just wanted to drop that in there. And to earn your CFM, you, like I said, you do have an exam to take. We do have study materials available. If you feel that you would be more comfortable to sit for the exam, they are not required. And believe it or not, we have people come in, say, yeah, I'm ready to take it, submit their application, they're approved, and they're a CFM. Personally, I would rather do a little bit of studying just to make sure that I'm going to be able to pass that exam. But it's out there. People do it all the time. If you're not quite ready for your CFM, we do have our foundational credential, the FMP. That's going to cover it's going to cover 4 competencies that every FM should know. If you're ready to move forward and learn about sustainable practices and you have that foundation set, the SFP, or Sustainability Facility Professional, is going to be the next credential for you to earn. Both of these are lifelong, and once you earn them, there is nothing else that you have to do to maintain them. You are good to go. If maybe you're not ready to earn a credential, maybe you don't have enough time in your day because, again, we know you are super busy with all of the tasks and duties that you're responsible for. Maybe you just want to supplement some of the skills that you have, and maybe you just want to fill some gaps in knowledge that you may be experiencing. We do have other training available. We have learning videos, micro modules, core competency courses. You can also break down the FMP into individual competencies. Maybe you do project management every day and you just want to make sure that you're at the top of your game for projects. Project management module or competency would be a great point to jump in and get that under your belt so that if there are anything out there that you may, maybe not be exposed to, you'd be able to fill that gap.
So Gail, if I may add, IFMA encourages lifelong learning. So your learning journey, as long as you're in the profession of facility management, is never over. It will continue. Some of you may be ready for a professional credential. If you just need to fill in a gap, upskill we can meet you where your needs are. And all of this goes into it. If you'd like to dive deeper into any one of these, feel free to search previous videos. We have these monthly webinars. We focus on different topics. We have one for each one of our credentials, as well as general training, training in general. So check us out, message us at the end of this presentation. We'll be glad to walk through anything that would help you. But we did want to cover that we have a variety of things for you to go through, whether it takes you 30 minutes or if it's more intensive, 10 to 12 hours of studying. So we're there.
And not only does IFMA meet you where you are in your experience journey, we also meet you are in how you learn. We understand that people learn differently. And so whenever you purchase one of the trainings, you automatically are going to receive online access. That's for all of the trainings that we offer. We do have other options available. If you like to have a physical copy of what you're reading in front of you so you can highlight, circle, whatever, we do have printed materials available. We also have virtual instructor-led courses available as well that you can enroll in alongside your online self-paced training. And we do also have instructor-led in-person available. That is more limited and sometimes depends on your geographical location as to what is available. But we do have all of these things available for you guys so that you can do your very best as you go through this information.
So IFMA supports you in so many ways. Becoming a member would be a great way for you to not only network, if you're looking at training, it would provide you discounted pricing, but it also gives you access to different opportunities for you to learn more. So the Emerging Trends white paper that just came out is actually housed in our knowledge library. We also have our Engage forum. So again, if you are experiencing issues in your region, you can put that question out there and people in your region are going to reach out and respond to you. You'll also have access to newsletters and resources that is going to provide you the latest information in FM. And then you'll also be able to network with chapters, councils, communities, determining, once you determine which one is going to benefit you the most. Again, regional would be your chapter. If you're looking for somebody in an industry that is very similar to yours, you're going to look at your councils and communities.
Yeah, Gail, if I can add to that, the Engage forum connects you to everybody around the world. And this is one when you post a question, you'll often get multiple responses very quickly. So it's not something that you're going to not hear from anybody and just, the crickets. You will get some responses that will help you. And then as Gail touched on, our councils, those are industry verticals. So if you work for a specific type, a unique type of facility, if you're at an airport, for example, connecting with others who also run and operate airports would be a really helpful thing for you to do and to learn from them. The communities are going to be based on a topic. So informational technology is a community. We also have sustainability. We have a brand new military community, which is about a year old. And that's for those of you who have served in the past. If you're transitioning from the military, if you're still in the military, this is a topic that is near and dear to this group's heart, and they have a lot of great information. So we look at connecting through communities and individuals, and we bring you together. So training is very important, but equally important is the knowledge and networking that you'll get by becoming a part of IFMA. So we really encourage you to take a look at that.
All right. And so as all these trends are emerging, we are also continuing to have our courses emerge. We have a cybersecurity course that's going to be coming out. If you have your phones, go ahead and scan the screen. We've tried to make this big enough to where it will show up and you can get notified when the cybersecurity course is available. This is an extremely relevant topic. As you may have heard in the news, a very prominent casino had some challenges recently with cybersecurity, and it is an ongoing challenge that FMs face on a day-to-day basis. Experienced FMs that face these things every single day, and we're here to help support you guys and help educate and make sure that you're protecting your facilities, not only physically, but also on the interwebs.
That's right. Operational technology is an area that, with the advancement of technology, Internet of Things, all of this is converging to create opportunities. Technology is not going to stop, and it can't be put back in the barn, right? It's out. What we need to know is, how do we make sure that if people want to impact your facility, that they cannot do that through your operational technology. And I'll tell you a secret, your IT department is not and should not have sole jurisdiction over operational technology. You know your facility better than anybody. You understand what you need. So make sure that you have a voice in that. And download this QR code so that we can let you know when this is there. This is Understanding Cybersecurity. It's actually the title of it, and it's incredible. And I encourage you to learn more about it at least.
And here we're providing a way for you to get the link to that white paper that we had mentioned earlier, that's going to talk about those 6 key topics of emerging trends in facility management. So feel free to log in and take a look at it. It's going to provide you with a lot of information.
And the best way to get started, if you're kind of wondering, okay, this sounds great, but I'm still not sure exactly where to begin, we have a link here to our career compass, and that is a 2-minute quiz, asks you a few questions, and provides you with the results of the best place to begin based on your answers. If you still have questions after that, of course, please feel free to reach out to us. We're happy to help you guys. But definitely, this is going to be the best place to begin if you're still just a little bit unsure.
And we wanted to provide you an opportunity to thank you for joining our webinar today. Feel free to use either of these codes. Fall into IFMA 50 will provide a $50 discount towards your core competency courses. And then your Fall into IFMA 100 will provide you a $100 discount off of the FMP, the SFP, and when you bundle those core competencies. If you experience any issues with using these codes, just send an email to corporateconnections@ifma.org, and we'll be able to get that taken care of for you. And these codes will run through the end of October, which I cannot believe we're already at the end of October. Where did September go? I'm just not sure anymore.
I know, it's crazy. And the fine print says you don't have to be an IFMA member to use these discounts. What if you're not a member, if you are a member, if you're eligible for the GSA price, this discount code can be used on any one of those pricing options. So it will be a full $50 off or $100 off. And there's the email address right there. I also would welcome you to send any questions that you may have. I think we've been receiving a few questions as we've gone through this. Cassandra in the background has been doing a great job giving you a real-time answer to those questions. But I would love to bring up one of the questions that I saw, if I may. Let's see here. It was about the SFP, and I thought it was a really great question from Mary. Here we go. Are there prerequisites to earning the SFP? You know, do you have to start with the FMP? Ladies, what do you recommend?
Well, the FMP is definitely not a requirement in order to enroll in the SFP, but we do advise that you should have a very strong foundation, and the FMP is recommended just because you will have those 4 foundational competencies to be able to understand all of the things that are being discussed in the Sustainability Facility Professional Credential Program.
Exactly.
Gail, do you have anything to add?
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was
Probably the same thing Kim's about to say is if you're not sure how to operate and maintain your organization or your building, how are you going to be able to apply those sustainable concepts that you're learning in the SFP? So that's why we strongly suggest having that foundation set so that whenever you are covering these different these different topics in the SFP, that you're able to just start applying them so that you don't have to try to go back and learn what those are to then apply those concepts.
That's
Is that what
right.
you were going to say?
Yeah, and you said it very well, and so I'll add this part. The SFP is where strategy meets application. So you're not just going to be learning theoretical sustainability options, right? It's going to enable you to understand how to do a facility assessment, how to go beyond that low-hanging fruit of putting in sensors so you know when somebody's in a room, retrofitting your light bulb so that it's more energy saving, more efficient. It goes much, much deeper, which is where a lot of FMs are finding that they're at now. That the easy things to do, they're done. So now, how do you meet your net zero goals? Different cities, states, countries are setting goals that facilities have to meet, and you're not having any say in how you you know agree to it, but you will have to meet that, or there could be penalties. So understanding the way to do it is what we want to empower you with. So I believe every facility management professional should ultimately get your SFP because it takes a team to be able to pull off some of this. And the more knowledge you have, the more effective you're going to be as a facility manager.
I do see a question about the experience required to sit for the CFM. So I feel like we should cover that a little bit more in depth because we really didn't, or I didn't talk about that when I was going over the credentials versus just upskilling training.
Go for it.
Sure. So for the certification, the Certified Facility Manager certification, which is an exam, there are requirements. You have to have either 3 years of experience in facility management with a bachelor's or master's degree in FM, or 5 or more years of experience in facility management. And as we mentioned throughout this webinar, facility manager is not always the title. And our credentials team does a really great job of going through resumes and looking to see that you have experience in at least 6 of the 11 competencies. They want you to have experience in a majority of those competencies for the timeframes that I mentioned in order to be eligible to sit for the exam.
I found the question. Thank you, Losei. We really appreciate that question because it is important. The CFM is based on your experience. And because of that, there are eligibility requirements. You've got to be able to demonstrate knowledge across, I believe it's at least 6 areas of the 11 competency areas that IFMA has identified as being a part of that position as a facility manager. And we do this not by Gail, me, and Starlin sitting together and saying, hey, I think, human occupancy factors are, it's a very interesting topic, and let's have that be a competency. This is an in-depth competency model that IFMA follows, and we get globally input from facility managers so that we understand what is making up the role of the facility manager, and then what do you need to know to be able to do those particular tasks. And that's the training that we build on. And over the last few years, IFMA has invested over $2 million in our training. So this isn't something that's 9 or 10 years old. This is current. We're constantly updating it and investing in technology so that you're able to go through, learn what you need to know, and apply it to your job, which will help to advance the profession. And that's why IFMA is here. That's our whole mission, is to advance this profession and make the world a better place.
And I know a lot of people, like Starlin said earlier, just kind of fall into their role. You might start out as the office manager, right? And you're doing little tasks here and there. And then next thing you know, you're doing a whole page of things, and now you're responsible for, and you have a lot of on-the-job training. You have a lot of, the way older FMs have done it who were previously there and may not even be in your organization any longer, but you continue to do those tasks that specific way because that's what worked, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. So when you have the opportunity to advance yourself, whether it is filling in gaps or maybe you're learning a whole brand new skill, this is how you make the world a better place, is because you are able to take that information, start applying those concepts that are updated. And maybe some of the things that you're doing the way you're doing them still apply, but maybe there's a little tweaking that needs to happen in order to be more sustainable or to save your organization a little bit more money because there's a better way to do it. So that's why IFMA wants to be that your training partner, so that we can help FMs everywhere, whether, like we said, whether that's in your title or maybe you're considered to be an analyst, or as Starlin mentioned earlier, you're on the finance team. Everybody has a very key role in their organization. So we want to make sure that we outfit you with the knowledge that you can take with you and just be the go-to person in your organization. Sorry, I'm extremely passionate about this.
I'm going to throw out there that you may have a background in technology, and guess what? There is a very important role for you on the facilities team. We had an interesting question here. I love it. Mara Lace wants to know, how could I become an independent trainer for IFMA? And Gail or Starlin, do y'all want to share some information?
Sure. We actually have a instructor liaison that we can put you in contact with. So there are a couple of steps that you would need to go through in order to make sure that this is what you want to do. Depending on which program you want to become an instructor for, again, we'll provide you with that information. You'll go through that training. You'll be able to show the company, I don't remember who they are off the top of my head, but you'll be able to show them that you do have the ability to teach the content and teach to a class. And then at that point, you would become an IFMA qualified instructor.
Right. So we do require that you get your certified facilitated trainer certification. It's through Hale & Associates. We'll connect you with that. So IFMA doesn't train you how to teach. So that is a skill that we do ask you to come into this process with. And just reach out to us. If you could send us an email, Mara-Lise, or anybody else that is interested in becoming an IFMA qualified instructor. We are always looking for great instructors. You saw Johnny Vinken. The instructors are amazing people with a lot of knowledge and experience, and we'll connect you with our instructor specialist who can share with you those steps to becoming an IFMA qualified instructor. Or just like every organization, we have our own acronyms. You can become an IQI and work with us. All right. I think that's probably going to wrap it up for this edition of our professional development webinars. I hope that we were able to share some information about who is an FM, what is FM, and the importance of staying up to date and current with all of the changes that are happening with this. Gail, Starlin, it's been a pleasure doing this with you. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. Be sure to hit that like button, and we'll see you next month.